Nagato. Nagato was born and raised in the war-torn village of Amegakure. His parents were killed by ninjas from Konohagakure, the Hidden Leaf village, leaving him to live a life full of pain and loss from a very young age. After losing his family, he began a life of wandering, moving from one house to another to beg for food. During this journey, he met a small dog named Chibi, and later he encountered Konan and Yahiko, who became his companions in a life full of hardship and darkness. Together, they searched for food and struggled to survive in a world where life was constantly threatened by war and conflict. Later, the three orphan children met the Sannin, including Jiraiya, who decided to stay and teach them how to protect themselves. Jiraiya was not only a teacher, but also someone who showed Nagato, Konan, and Yahiko how to stand strong in such a ruthless world. When Nagato and Yahiko were attacked by a ninja from Iwagakure, Nagato activated his Rinnegan to protect Yahiko and killed the enemy. The death of the enemy caused Nagato great pain, and he turned to Jiraiya for help. Jiraiya advised Nagato to mature and use his eyes to find a path that would lead to the peace both of them desired. 3 years later, the three children had become skilled ninjas. They gathered followers who shared their ideals of ending war. Hanzo, the leader of Amegakure, saw Nagato's group as a major threat to his power and decided to take them down with the support of Root from Konoha. Hanzo tricked Nagato, Konan, and Yahiko into a trap, pretending to negotiate for peace. As a result, they lost Yahiko. Losing one of his two closest friends, Nagato couldn't bear it and became determined to take revenge. He wanted to lead the world to peace by using his power to show all of humanity the pain of war. After becoming Pain, he assassinated Hanzo. Then, he continued to purge all of Hanzo's subordinates to solidify his power. Nagato was one of the first members of Akatsuki. Now, we just want to take a moment to sincerely thank all of our viewers for supporting our channel. And we want you to know that we always read all of your comments and truly appreciate your suggestions and feedback. We are aiming to reach 10K subscribers, and we really need your help. Please support us by hitting the subscribe button, liking, and sharing our videos. Your support is our biggest motivation to keep growing and bringing you more exciting content. Alright, next, Konan. Konan was a girl from the Hidden Rain village, and no one knew much about her family or history before she lost her parents. All that is known about her is that she became an orphan after her parents died in the Second Great Ninja War. At first, Konan had to wander the streets, searching for bits of food and a place to stay. However, in her most desperate moment, Konan met Yahiko. Both of them had to steal food and find shelter to survive. Later, they met Nagato, who was almost dying from hunger and exhaustion. When they saved Nagato, they not only gave him a meal, but also provided him with a warm home. It was then that they started forming a group, living together and relying on each other to survive through the tough times. Although Konan was a rather shy person, she was strongly inspired by Yahiko's optimism. She was drawn to the desire to bring peace to a world ravaged by war. Because of this, Konan became determined to become strong enough to protect her friends and help them achieve their noble goal. She, along with Yahiko and Nagato, began their journey to find a teacher to learn ninjutsu and become even stronger, with the hope that one day they could change the world. Under Jiraiya's guidance, over the course of 3 years, Konan and her friends became skilled ninjas, strong enough to protect themselves. After Jiraiya left, Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan together founded the Akatsuki organization, with Yahiko as the leader. Yahiko and Nagato always pursued the goal of bringing peace to the world, while Konan was the one to protect them and their ideals. Yahiko was born and grew up in Amegakure, a village devastated by war, and became an orphan after his parents were killed in the conflict. To survive, Yahiko had to steal food and find ways to protect himself. In these difficult circumstances, he met Konan and later Nagato, two important companions in his life. Together, the three of them faced many hardships and challenges, and later became disciples of Jiraiya. Yahiko always carried within him a grand ambition to end war and bring peace to the shinobi world. He believed that only strength and unity could achieve this goal. With his strong will and determination, Yahiko founded Akatsuki alongside Nagato and Konan. However, he died before he could accomplish his ideal. Zetsu Zetsu consists of two halves, Black Zetsu and White Zetsu. Black Zetsu, one of the oldest entities in the Naruto universe, is actually the embodiment of Kaguya Otsutsuki's final will. After Kaguya was sealed by her sons, Hagoromo and Hamura Otsutsuki, she inadvertently created Black Zetsu with the sole purpose of resurrecting herself. And it was Black Zetsu that carried out this mission for thousands of years. Although born from the pure Otsutsuki bloodline, Black Zetsu does not have remarkable physical strength, but he is highly skilled in crafting complex, intricate strategies that take many years to come into effect. Knowing that he couldn't influence Kaguya's sons, Black Zetsu decided to attach himself to her grandson, Indra. When Hagoromo, the legendary sage of the Six Paths, chose his youngest son, Ashura, as his heir, Black Zetsu noticed a dark cloud in the heart of the eldest son, Indra. He chose Indra and the Uchiha clan as his target to manipulate. Over the years, Black Zetsu continuously influenced this clan, gradually guiding them down a path he believed would ultimately help him resurrect Kaguya. One of Black Zetsu's most terrifying achievements was manipulating information related to the infinite Tsukuyomi, a technique written on the sacred Uchiha stone. Believing the content of this stone, Madara Uchiha, the strongest in Uchiha history, began to build a plan to implement the infinite Tsukuyomi, thinking it was the way to create his ideal world, without realizing that in reality, it was the key to resurrecting Kaguya. Seeing this development, Black Zetsu decided to assist Madara and pretended to be the embodiment of his will. Madara then asked Zetsu to help Tobi in influencing Nagato to create an organization of powerful shinobi tasked with hunting the tailed beasts, a crucial part of Kaguya's resurrection. From there, Black Zetsu became a member of Akatsuki, but in reality, he was the one pulling the strings, controlling everything from the shadows. Before his death, Madara merged Black Zetsu into the right side of a White Zetsu, one of Kaguya Otsutsuki's victims of the infinite Tsukuyomi, who was transformed after being connected to the God Tree for years and eventually stored in the Outer Path's statue. This fusion ultimately formed the Zetsu shape within the Akatsuki organization. Thanks to this, Black Zetsu finally obtained a physical body, allowing him to move freely and carry out his wicked schemes in secret without anyone noticing. Orochimaru. Orochimaru is one of Konohagakure's legendary sannin and also Sasuke's teacher. With the ambition to learn all the secrets of the world, Orochimaru seeks immortality so that he can live as many lives as necessary to accomplish his mission. He is an extremely powerful ninja compared to his generation, and he was the one who killed his master, the third Hokage. Orochimaru joined Akatsuki after leaving Konohagakure because he was discovered conducting forbidden experiments. In Akatsuki, Orochimaru worked with Sasori, a master of puppetry. However, his goal soon became to take over Itachi Uchiha's body to gain the Sharingan, one of the strongest dojutsu. When Orochimaru attempted to attack Itachi, he was easily defeated by Itachi's overwhelming strength and was forced to leave the organization. After leaving Akatsuki, Orochimaru founded Otogakure, the village hidden in sound, and continued pursuing his goal of achieving immortality and obtaining all the knowledge in the world. He continued conducting forbidden experiments and became one of Naruto and his teammates' most dangerous enemies. Orochimaru has the ability to transfer his soul into another body to achieve immortality. This technique allows him to live forever by taking over another person's body. He can summon snakes from his sleeves or mouth to attack his enemies. These snakes can grow sword-like tongues to increase their damage. He can also summon a giant snake like Manda and summon Rashomon, a powerful defensive gate. He also has soft physique modification, a technique that allows Orochimaru to extend and alter his body, making him flexible in both evading and attacking. After the war ended, Orochimaru reached a peace agreement with Konohagakure and the other nations. he was allowed to return to his genetic experiments under 24/7 supervision. Sasori was born in Sunagakure, but his childhood was marked by the pain of loss. His parents were killed in a battle with Sakumo Hatake, Kakashi's father. The wounds left by their death never healed, and this loneliness turned Sasori into someone who constantly sought to fill the emptiness in his heart. This loss led him down a different path, where solitude and pain guided every decision. Under the teachings of Chiyo, Sasori began to learn the art of controlling puppets. He quickly became a genius in this field, creating intricate and powerful puppets. But the more he worked with puppets, the more he fell into the trap of his own making. The loneliness and pain from his past led him to think about turning people into puppets, so they would never leave him. This wasn't just an application of the art, but also a way for Sasori to seek immortality, a way to keep the people he loved, even after they were gone. Around 20 years before his appearance in the series, Sasori left Sunagakure, becoming a rogue ninja. He decided to turn his own body into a puppet, keeping only his heart as the last part of him that remained human. The reason Sasori joined Akatsuki is quite complicated. Some sources suggest that Sasori met Konan, a member of Akatsuki, after leaving Sunagakure. Konan recruited Sasori by challenging him to a fight, and as a result, Sasori had to join Akatsuki after losing. In any case, Akatsuki provided an ideal environment for him to continue researching and developing his puppet art. With its abundant resources and extensive connections, Akatsuki offered Sasori a great opportunity to access the information and techniques he needed. Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha was a prodigy of the Uchiha clan from a very young age. At just 4 years old, he witnessed the horrors of war, which sparked his deep desire for peace. By the age of 8, he awakened the Sharingan and quickly became one of the most skilled ninjas in the Hidden Leaf Village. Itachi received one of Uchiha Shisui's eyes as a gift, and later awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan after Shisui took his own life. Around this time, the Uchiha clan was planning a rebellion against the Hidden Leaf, seeking justice and equality for the clan. Forced to choose between his village and his clan, Itachi made the heart-wrenching decision to massacre his entire clan to prevent a coup. However, he spared the life of his younger brother, Sasuke, hoping Sasuke would one day grow strong enough to understand his decision. At the age of 14, Itachi joined the Akatsuki, becoming one of the most powerful members of the organization. However, his true goal was to monitor and secretly protect the Hidden Leaf from within. Itachi's strength was acknowledged by many of the most powerful shinobi. Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, openly admitted that Itachi was stronger than him. Shisui, known as the strongest Uchiha of his time, also believed Itachi surpassed him. Even Danzo, a man known for his harsh judgments, considered Itachi a once-in-a-century shinobi. Despite suffering from a debilitating illness, Itachi still managed to push elite ninja teams to their limits. In his final battle with Sasuke, even though Sasuke had trained under Orochimaru and gained new powers, Itachi could have defeated him if he had fought with full strength. Itachi was a complete ninja, highly skilled in all 3 main areas of ninjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu. He could effortlessly learn new techniques just by observing them once, making him a fast and dangerous opponent. As a member of the Uchiha clan, Itachi had access to the powerful Sharingan, which he mastered to perfection. His genjutsu abilities were second to none, as he could trap opponents in illusions with just a glance. His most famous Sharingan techniques included Tsukuyomi, a powerful illusion technique that could trap enemies in a world where he controlled both time and space, and Amaterasu, black flames that burned anything in their path until it was completely destroyed. After awakening the Mangekyo Sharingan in both eyes, Itachi gained access to Susanoo, one of the most powerful techniques in the ninja world. This technique created a giant spectral warrior to protect and fight for him. Even in its simplest form, Itachi's Susanoo could generate extra arms and bones to enhance his combat ability. At full power, his Susanoo wielded 2 legendary weapons that made it nearly invincible: the Sword of Totsuka, a spiritual sword that could seal anyone it pierced inside a gourd, trapping them for eternity, and the Yata Mirror, a shield that could reflect any attack by changing its chakra nature to counter it. essentially making it indestructible. With the combination of these two weapons, Itachi's Susanoo was considered unbeatable. Itachi could also summon flocks of crows, which he used to create confusion and misdirection in battle. These crows could form illusions, deceive enemies, and make Itachi appear or disappear. Itachi's most memorable battle was against his younger brother, Sasuke. This long-awaited battle was filled with intense emotion and dramatic twists. Both brothers used their Sharingan abilities to attack and defend, making it a fight of strategy and skill. Sasuke used techniques like Chidori and fire-release jutsu, while Itachi used powerful genjutsu to weaken Sasuke's mind and wear him down. The two fought fiercely, and the tension reached its peak when Itachi approached Sasuke, seemingly with the intent to steal his brother's eyes. However, instead of taking Sasuke's eyes, Itachi gently poked Sasuke's forehead with 2 fingers and smiled before collapsing. This moment revealed Itachi's true feelings. He had always loved and protected Sasuke from the shadows. It was a powerful and emotional conclusion to Itachi's tragic story, showing that everything he had done, no matter how harsh, was for the sake of his brother. Kisame Hoshigaki. Before joining Akatsuki, Kisame was a member of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist. He soon realized the lies and cruelty that filled the ninja world, and he hated it. These things became unbearable for him. Later, Kisame met Obito Uchiha, who was disguised as Madara Uchiha at the time. Obito, with his persuasive words, pointed out that the world Kisame was living in was full of falsehoods and needed to change. Obito painted a picture of a true world, with absolute honesty and only happiness, which he would create through the Moon's Eye plan. This idea was appealing to Kisame, who always sought truth. Attracted by the promises of change, Kisame decided to join Akatsuki, where he could contribute to Obito's plan and pursue his own ideals. In the end, he became a loyal member of the organization and stayed with it until the end of his life. In short, Kisame was just a relatively naive ninja, but he also had an ideal for a better world, willing to do anything, even die for it. Because of this, he earned the respect of Guy, the one who defeated him. Deidara. Deidara, originally from the Hidden Stone village, Iwagakure, was a talented ninja and a former member of the Explosion Corps. In the past, Deidara stole forbidden jutsu and left Iwagakure because he wanted to pursue his art of explosion. The forbidden jutsu Deidara stole allowed him to create special mouths on his palms and chest, enabling him to mold explosive chakra into clay figures to attack his opponents. It seemed that Iwagakure didn't appreciate Deidara's art, and stealing and using forbidden jutsu was a dangerous and unacceptable act. This led to Deidara deciding to leave the village in order to freely pursue his passion. After all, he was a person with a very high artistic ego. Initially, Deidara had no intention of joining Akatsuki. However, Akatsuki sent Itachi to recruit him. Deidara accepted the condition that if he lost to Itachi, he would have to join Akatsuki. Well, we all know how that fight turned out. Kakuzu. Kakuzu was an S-rank missing nin from Takigakure and a member of the Akatsuki, where he was partnered with Hidan. Kakuzu was an exceptionally powerful ninja, capable enough to be recruited into the elite S-rank organization, Akatsuki. His village even entrusted him with the mission to assassinate Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage. Although he failed the mission, he managed to survive the encounter, a testament to his incredible skills and resilience. Kakuzu's fighting style and unique abilities revolve around the special structure of his body, which is made up of hundreds of thick, gray tendrils intertwined throughout his flesh. These tendrils, known as Earth Grudge Fear, hold his body together like the stitches on a ragdoll. This ability allows Kakuzu to maintain his strength, health, and youthful appearance despite his old age. With these tendrils, Kakuzu can separate parts of his body at will, enabling him to launch mid-range and long-range physical attacks. He can also stitch himself back together after suffering severe injuries. Additionally, he can use the tendrils to repair the bodies of others, as seen when he reattached Deidara's severed arm. One of Kakuzu's most terrifying abilities is his capacity to integrate the organs of other people into his own body. This power allows him to extend his lifespan, effectively living through multiple generations. Kakuzu can hold up to 5 hearts at once, meaning that to truly kill him, an enemy would need to destroy all 5 hearts. The hearts he steals from other shinobi also grant him access to multiple elemental chakra natures, allowing him to unleash a wide variety of powerful elemental attacks. Kakuzu's main elemental affinity is Earth, but he also possesses 4 additional hearts, each with a different elemental affinity. 1 heart is linked to fire, 1 to lightning, 1 to water, and 1 to wind. This allows him to use all these elemental releases and even combine them for more powerful attacks. Kakuzu's final battle took place against Team 10 from the Hidden Leaf Village, which included Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akamichi, and Kakashi Hatake. His immense power and forbidden techniques made it extremely difficult for the Leaf Village ninjas to defeat him. The fight took a turn when Naruto arrived as backup. Naruto Uzumaki appeared alongside Team 7 to support Team 10. Using a new technique he had just mastered, the Rasen Shuriken, Naruto launched a powerful attack on Kakuzu. The Rasen Shuriken caused severe damage to Kakuzu, destroying his cells and leaving him unable to recover. Obito. Obito Uchiha was once a member of Minato's team, along with Kakashi Hatake and Rin Nohara, a group that many expected to become elite ninjas in the future. However, during a mission, Obito suffered a serious accident and was crushed by a large rock, leaving him believed to be dead. Despite this, Obito survived and was saved by Madara Uchiha. Madara took Obito in and shared with him his ideals, believing that the current ninja world was filled with suffering and needed to be changed. After witnessing the tragic death of Rin, the one he loved, Obito completely broke down. Already having a negative view of the world, he became fully immersed in the ideals Madara had instilled in him. Rin's death was the final psychological blow that caused Obito to abandon reason and transform into a completely different person, closed off and consumed by dark thoughts. Believing that a dream world without pain and war was the ultimate goal, Obito decided to carry out Madara's plan even after Madara's death. This belief led him down a path few could understand, a path filled with ruthless decisions and a long struggle against those who were once his friends and teammates. Obito joined Akatsuki under a new identity, Tobi, a person with a completely different appearance and personality, in order to hide his true identity. At first, he was just a minor member of the organization, but behind that facade was a well-calculated strategy. After the death of Nagato, Pain, Obito decided to reveal his true identity and officially became the leader of Akatsuki. At this point, Obito was no longer an outsider, but became the one controlling all the actions of the organization, with a clear goal of executing the infinite Tsukuyomi plan, a plan to create a perfect illusionary world where there is no pain and no war. Obito used Akatsuki as a tool to gather the tailed beasts. Every action and every plan Obito made served this greater purpose, to create a world that he believed was ideal, where people would live in an eternal dream, free from pain and loss, and that world would have Rin Nohara. Obito Tobi. Obito's title, Tobi, has a layered origin that ties back to an unexpected source rather than a simple variation of his own name. The name originally belonged to a mutated being, one of the earliest victims of Kaguya Otsutsuki's infinite Tsukuyomi, who was sealed within the demonic statue of the Outer Path. This entity was later freed by Madara Uchiha and taken on as a servant. Obito, after surviving his near-death experience under the boulder, encountered this being and nicknamed it Guru Guru, an onomatopoeia meaning going around in circles, inspired by its swirling spiral-patterned form. Eventually, this Tobi, now called Guru Guru, attached itself to Obito's broken body, acting as a protective shell and guide under Madara's influence, granting him access to Hashirama's cells. The spiral face of Guru Guru inspired the iconic mask Obito later wore, and he adopted Tobi as his new alias, repurposing the name for his deceptive persona within the Akatsuki. Tobi reflects Obito's transformation from a lost, idealistic ninja into a masked manipulator operating in the shadows. As Tobi, He presents himself as a carefree, bumbling figure within the Akatsuki, hiding his true power and motives. Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Obito's title, Ten Tails Jinchuriki, marks his ultimate transformation during the Fourth Great Ninja War when he becomes the host of the Ten Tails, the primordial chakra beast. This title originates from his success in reviving the creature by collecting the tailed beasts, a plan he pursued after seizing control of Madara's Eye of the Moon scheme. With the aid of Black Zetsu and the Gato statue, Obito seals the Ten Tails into himself, amplifying his power to godlike levels. His first act as its Jinchuriki, unleashing devastating attacks like the truth-seeking orbs against the allied shinobi forces, solidifies this title as a testament to his dominance on the battlefield. Ten Tails Jinchuriki represents the peak of Obito's power and his descent into a near-divine yet hollow existence. As the host of the Ten Tails, he transcends human limits, wielding chakra and destructive force on a scale that rivals the Sage of the Six Paths. This title casts him as both a terrifying adversary and a tragic figure, embodying the ultimate fusion of strength and despair in the ninja world. Pain God. Pain earned the title God from the Rain Village's people and adopted it himself, reflecting his unmatched power and guardianship over the village. After Yahiko's death, Nagato used his Rinnegan to defeat Hanzo, the Rain Village's former tyrant, and establish peace. With techniques like Shinra Tensei and Chibaku Tensei, Pain displayed abilities that seemed beyond mortal limits, akin to an unstoppable force of nature. To the villagers, long plagued by fear, he became a divine protector, a savior who shielded them from chaos. For instance, when Pain leveled the Leaf Village with a single Shinra Tensei, he proclaimed to Naruto that he was a god tasked with enforcing peace through destruction and renewal. The title God embodies the reverence of the Rain Village's people and Pain's own view of his purpose. It signifies his absolute dominion in both physical and spiritual. It also reveals his estrangement from humanity. Pain sees himself as a transcendent being, above ordinary mortals, driven to end conflict at any cost, even if it means severing ties with those he once held dear, like Konan and Yahiko. The Six Paths of Pain. The title, Sage of the Six Paths, reflects Pain's mastery of the Six Paths technique, enabled by his Rinnegan. Pain commands 6 distinct bodies, each embodying a unique path: Diva Path, Human Path, Naraka Path, Animal Path, Preta Path, and Asura Path. This mirrors the abilities of Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the legendary sage of the Six Paths, who founded ninjutsu and wielded the Rinnegan as the ancestor of figures like Naruto and Sasuke. Pain's use of this power linked him to this mythic icon, earning him the title among allies and foes alike. For example, when Pain unveiled the Six Paths against Jiraiya, his former mentor was stunned, recognizing that Nagato had transcended the skills he once taught him. Sage of the Six Paths signifies Pain's unparalleled strength and his connection to the ninja world's ancient roots. It positions him as a near-mythical figure, capable of bending life and death to his will, much like the original sage. The title also ties to Pain's belief that inflicting and understanding pain through the Six Paths can lead humanity to peace, echoing Hagoromo's legacy of shaping the world. Still, it highlights his detachment, as he fragments himself across multiple bodies to pursue this vision. Konan, God's Angel. Konan's title, God's Angel, originates from her unwavering loyalty to Pain, Nagato, whom the people of the Rain Village revered as a god, and her role as his ethereal enforcer. Raised as an orphan alongside Nagato and Yahiko in the war-torn hidden Rain Village, Konan developed her unique paper-based ninjutsu under Jiraiya's guidance, transforming sheets of paper into weapons or explosives. When she hovered in the air with her paper wings, she truly resembled an angel, an image that led the people of Amegakure to believe she was the divine messenger of pain. God's angel captures Conan's dual essence as both a divine protector and a harbinger of judgment. The God aspect ties her to pain, symbolizing her devotion to his dream of peace through pain, acting as his right hand and messenger. Angel reflects her elegance and otherworldly combat style. Her ability to float with paper wings or strike with silent precision evokes a celestial being. This title underscores her role in the Akatsuki and the Rain Village, where she serves as a guardian of Nagato's ideals, willing to sacrifice herself to shield him, as seen in her explosive final stand against Obito. She displayed her true strength by unleashing the paper ocean, Kami no Shisha no Jutsu, creating a massive sea of 600 billion explosive tags, an attack powerful enough to force Obito to use Izanagi just to survive. Sasori, Scorpion of the Red Sand. Sasori's title, Scorpion of the Red Sand, originates from his distinctive traits and his deep ties to the Hidden Sand Village, where he was born and raised. The red sand refers to his striking red hair, a rare feature in the desert village, and his legacy as a shinobi of its sandy terrain. Red sand also came from the bloody battles Sasori had fought in. In the past, he used his deadly puppets to slaughter enemies, staining the white sand red with their blood. The scorpion aspect draws from his personal puppet, a scorpion-like creation he used as his signature weapon, as well as his venomous, elusive nature. After defecting from the village and joining the Akatsuki, Sasori's reputation grew through feats like assassinating the third Kazekage, whose body he turned into one of his deadliest puppets, reinforcing this moniker with his lethal precision and sting-like attacks. Scorpion of the Red Sand embodies Sasori's dangerous elegance and his connection to his homeland's harsh environment. Like a scorpion, he strikes with calculated ferocity. His puppets, laced with poison and hidden blades, mirror the creature's deadly tail. Genius Modeling Specialist of the Puppet Brigade. Sasori's title, Genius Modeling Specialist of the Puppet Brigade, stems from his unparalleled mastery of puppetry, a craft he elevated to an art form within the Hidden Sand Village. Sasori transformed the traditional puppet techniques taught by his grandmother, Chiyo, into a deadly and intricate discipline. The genius aspect highlights his inventive mind, capable of turning lifeless corpses into sophisticated killing machines, a feat unmatched in the ninja world. Modeling Specialist underscores his craftsmanship. Each puppet is a unique masterpiece, sculpted with care to preserve its strength and abilities, embodying his belief that art should be eternal. He created the Puppet Brigade, a collection of human puppets crafted from the bodies of defeated enemies, including the third Kazekage, designed and rigged with weapons, traps, and poisons. Puppet Brigade also refers to his personal arsenal, a testament to his strategic dominance, as he commands these creations like a one-man army. His genius shone through in battles like his ambush of Sakura and Chiyo, where he deployed an army of over 100 puppets with precision, showcasing his ability to model and control them as extensions of himself. Itachi, once-in-a-century genius. The title once-in-a-century genius stems from Itachi's innate talent and extraordinary development from a very young age. Born into the Uchiha clan, renowned for their Sharingan and fire-style ninjutsu, Itachi quickly surpassed his peers. He graduated from the Ninja Academy at age 7, awakened his Sharingan at 8, and became a Chunin at 10, milestones that even elite ninja rarely achieve. Later, he joined the Anbu, the Leaf Village's special forces, and was appointed captain at just 13, showcasing his exceptional combat skills, intelligence, and strategic acumen. This title was given to Itachi by the third Hokage, Sarutobi. In a flashback, Itachi's father, Uchiha Fugaku, was astonished when young Itachi independently analyzed and resolved complex tactical scenarios without guidance, something even seasoned clan members struggled with. This title also placed immense pressure on Itachi. He was expected to represent the clan while navigating the growing tensions between the Uchiha and the Leaf Village. The Clan Killer. The Clan Killer originates from the infamous night when Itachi, at the age of 13, single-handedly massacred the entire Uchiha clan under secret orders from the Leaf Village's leadership. Tasked by the third Hokage and Danzo to prevent a coup that the Uchiha were plotting against the village, Itachi wielded his exceptional skills, honed as an Anbu captain, and his newly awakened Mangekyo Sharingan to eliminate his family, including his parents, Fugaku and Makoto. He spared only his younger brother, Sasuke, before fleeing the village as a rogue ninja. This act of slaughter, executed with cold precision and later amplified by his alliance with Obito, branded him with this grim moniker across the ninja world. Clan Killer Itachi encapsulates the devastating act that defined Itachi's life and his public persona as a traitor. The title emphasizes his role as the executioner of his own bloodline, a deed that showcases both his unparalleled prowess and his willingness to bear an unimaginable burden for the sake of peace. It paints him as a figure of fear and infamy, a ninja capable of annihilating one of the Leaf Village's most powerful clans in a single night. Beneath the surface, it hides the truth of his sacrifice, undertaken to protect the village and Sasuke from a brewing civil war. However, this title also became the source of Itachi's isolation and suffering. He lived as an outcast, bearing infamy to secure the village's peace and his brother's future. The Shadow Hero. The title Shadow Hero was not publicly acknowledged during Itachi's lifetime, but was revealed after his death through accounts from Obito and the third Hokage to Naruto and Sasuke. The truth behind the Uchiha massacre showed that Itachi acted not out of hatred or ambition, but out of necessity, choosing between his clan and the village he cherished. By eliminating the Uchiha to avert civil war, Itachi protected the Leaf Village from destruction. He then infiltrated the Akatsuki to monitor the organization from within, continuing to serve as a covert agent for the village until his final breath. In his final battle with Sasuke, Itachi deliberately lost and used his last strength to seal Orochimaru within Sasuke, protecting his brother from a lingering threat while smiling as he died. A moment that revealed his love and sacrifice. Shadow Hero captures Itachi's true essence, a selfless protector willing to endure pain, misunderstanding, and death to safeguard what he valued most. It acknowledges his role in preserving peace and honors his unspoken sacrifices. This title stands in stark contrast to Traitor Ninja, illuminating Itachi's tragedy, a forgotten hero who lived and died in the shadows so others could thrive in the light. It also reflects his philosophy. True peace requires personal sacrifice, not public glory. Kisame, Monster of the Hidden Mist. Kisame earned the title Monster of the Hidden Mist through his terrifying reputation and brutal deeds as a ninja from the Hidden Mist village, Kirigakure. This village was notorious for its harsh policies and violent history, producing some of the deadliest shinobi. Kisame stood out with his shark-like traits, blue skin, sharp teeth, and gill-like markings, paired with his savage combat style. He once killed his own teammates to protect sensitive information, showcasing his ruthless loyalty to the village's merciless code. Monster of the Hidden Mist captures Kisame's physical and psychological menace. His appearance alone inspires dread, but his readiness to embrace violence and betrayal truly marks him as a monster. The title also reflects his detachment from human qualities, as he often sees himself as a beast or a tool of destruction rather than a person. Tailless-Tailed Beast. The nickname Tailless-Tailed Beast highlights Kisame's extraordinary chakra reserves and fighting ability, which rival those of a tailed beast, massive chakra entities sealed within Jinchuriki hosts. Unlike Jinchuriki, who rely on their tailed beasts for power, Kisame's immense chakra is entirely his own, a natural trait. His weapon, Samihara, a sentient sword that consumes chakra, enhances this by draining energy from his opponents, amplifying his already formidable strength. A key example is his fight with Killer B, a Jinchuriki, where B noted that Kisame's chakra levels felt like facing another tailed beast. Tailed beast without a tail underscores Kisame's unique position as a human with near mythical power, akin to the tailed beasts feared for their destructive might. It distinguishes him from typical ninja, portraying him as a force of nature. This title also ties to his Akatsuki role, hunting Jinchuriki, making him a predator of the very beings he mirrors in strength. Hidan, immortal bloodthirsty killer. Hidan's nickname, Immortal Bloodthirsty Killer, arises from his relentless pursuit of violence and his extraordinary ability to survive any attack, traits that define his existence. As a devoted follower of Jashin, a sinister deity, Hidan conducts horrific rituals, sacrificing his victim's blood to secure his own eternal life. This immortality frees him to kill without fear, as no wound, however severe, can end him. His brutal execution of Asuma Sarutobi, where he delighted in his foe's suffering and even survived decapitation, cemented his reputation as a merciless and unkillable force. His unwavering faith in Jashin, combined with his love for bloodshed in combat, has spread this chilling title across the ninja world. The nickname, Immortal Bloodthirsty Killer, perfectly captures Hidan's identity as an unstoppable murderer and a terrifying presence. Immortal highlights his unparalleled ability to endure any injury, rendering him a near-invincible opponent. Bloodthirsty reveals his ferocious nature and unquenchable desire for violence, fueled by his devotion to Jashin's doctrine of slaughter. As a killer, he fulfills his role in the Akatsuki with ruthless precision, employing his cursed techniques, linking his body to his victims to share deadly wounds in nightmarish ways. This title reflects not just his skills, but his warped psyche, establishing him as one of the Akatsuki's most unpredictable and fearsome members. The fusion of immortality and bloodlust makes Hidan a living nightmare. Kakuzu Bounty Hunter. Kakuzu's title Bounty Hunter originates from his obsession with wealth and his relentless pursuit of high-value targets across the ninja world. A rogue ninja from Takigakure, the hidden waterfall village, Kakuzu turned to a life of mercenary work after betraying his village. His greed drove him to hunt down individuals with substantial bounties, collecting their rewards to amass a fortune. His unique ability to steal and integrate the hearts of his victims, gaining their elemental affinities, made him a formidable predator. For instance, he once tracked and killed a high-ranking ninja solely for the payout, showcasing his cold, transactional approach to violence. This reputation grew stronger after joining the Akatsuki, where he managed the organization's finances and continued his bounty hunting pursuits on the side. Bounty Hunter defines Kakuzu's pragmatic and ruthless nature, setting him apart as a shinobi motivated by profit rather than ideology or loyalty. The title reflects his methodical approach to combat. He assesses his opponents not just as threats, but as potential paychecks, viewing their lives in terms of monetary value. Zetsu Chatterbox. Zetsu's title, Chatterbox, stems from the constant interplay between his two distinct personalities, Black Zetsu and White Zetsu, which manifest as a split body with contrasting voices. A creation of Kaguya Otsutsuki's will, Zetsu serves as her agent, but his dual nature gives rise to an almost ceaseless dialogue within himself. White Zetsu's playful, talkative demeanor often fills the silence with sarcastic quips or curious observations, while Black Zetsu's deeper, more calculating tone counters with sharp remarks or cryptic plans. This internal chatter became evident during his covert operations for the Akatsuki, such as when he spied on battles or relayed intelligence, often muttering to himself as he merged with the earth or plants. For instance, while observing the fight between Sasuke and Itachi, White Zetsu couldn't resist commenting on the action, earning him a reputation as a loquacious lurker among those few who noticed his presence. Chatterbox captures Zetsu's unique duality and his tendency to vocalize his thoughts, whether for amusement, strategy, or manipulation. Unlike the stoic silence of many Akatsuki members, Zetsu's split persona makes him a walking conversation, blending humor and menace in equal measure. The nickname highlights his role as the group's spy and communicator. His chatter isn't just idle talk, but a tool for gathering and sharing critical information across vast distances. It also reflects his deceptive nature. White Zetsu's babbling disarms foes, masking the sinister intent of Black Zetsu. Orochimaru, Legendary Sannin. Orochimaru's title, Legendary Sannin, originates from his recognition as one of the 3 exceptional ninja trained by Hiruzen Sarutobe, the 3rd Hokage, alongside Jiraiya and Tsunade. The term Sannin, 3 ninja, was bestowed upon them by Hanzo of the Rain Village during the Second Great Ninja War, when they survived a battle against him, an unprecedented feat that earned them fame across the nations. Orochimaru's contribution to this legend was his prodigious talent and unorthodox approach, mastering countless forbidden jutsu and displaying a chilling intellect even then. For instance, his early experiments with immortality, like transferring his soul into new bodies, began to take shape during this period, setting him apart as a figure both admired and feared. Thanks for watching till the end. See ya. Kisame. Kisame Hoshigaki wasn't driven by revenge, personal trauma, or an ideological mission. He was simply a man of absolute loyalty. Throughout Naruto, Kisame remained steadfast in his devotion to his cause, serving as a true warrior who never wavered in his beliefs. That's why his death stands out, not as a tragic fall or a grand sacrifice, but as an unshakable commitment to his duty. Kisame's final battle was against Might Guy, a longtime rival he had faced multiple times. Despite his immense strength, Kisame was outmatched. He accepted his fate without hesitation. But Kisame wasn't concerned about victory. His only goal was to protect the secrets of Akatsuki, and he did so in the most brutal way possible. Captured and restrained, Kisame was interrogated by the allied shinobi forces, but rather than surrendering or allowing himself to be used, he chose to die on his own terms. Realizing that he could no longer escape, Kisame summoned a pack of sharks and allowed them to devour him alive. This was one of the most horrifying yet poetic deaths in the series. His body was ripped apart in a frenzy of blood and water, ensuring that no information about Akatsuki would ever be revealed. This act solidified Kisame's legacy as a true warrior. He didn't beg for mercy. He didn't hesitate. He made a conscious choice to die with honor. Even Guy, who had always seen him as an enemy, couldn't help but respect Kisame's unwavering loyalty. Itachi. Itachi Uchiha's death is one of the most defining moments in Naruto. At the time, it seemed like the culmination of a long-standing sibling rivalry, a battle between 2 brothers destined to clash. But the true weight of his death wasn't felt until later, when the shocking truth about his past was revealed. From the moment Sasuke set out to avenge his clan, his goal was clear: defeat Itachi. Their final battle was inevitable, and when it finally happened, it did not disappoint. The fight was intense, filled with strategic genjutsu exchanges, high-level ninjutsu, and an emotional undercurrent that made every move feel personal. At first, it seemed like Itachi was toying with Sasuke, testing his younger brother's growth. But as the battle progressed, something felt off. Itachi, despite his overwhelming power, was struggling. He coughed up blood, moved sluggishly, and his attacks lacked their usual precision. It was later revealed that Itachi was already dying. His illness had been slowly consuming him. The fight was never about proving his superiority. It was his final act as an older brother. As the battle reached its climax, Sasuke unleashed his full power, believing he had pushed Itachi to his limits. But Itachi, in his last moments, did something unexpected. He reached out, not to take Sasuke's eyes, but to gently poke Sasuke's forehead, the same way he did when they were children. Then he collapsed. This single action changed everything. Up until that moment, Sasuke believed Itachi was a ruthless killer who murdered their clan for his own gain. But this gesture, subtle yet powerful, hinted at something deeper. It was a farewell, a sign of affection that contradicted everything Sasuke thought he knew. Itachi's death alone was already impactful, but what came after turned it into one of the most emotional moments in Naruto. Through Tobi, Sasuke learned the real story. Itachi had never been a villain. He was a tragic hero who sacrificed everything to protect Konoha and, most importantly, his little brother. Suddenly, the entire battle took on a new meaning. Itachi was never fighting to kill Sasuke. He was orchestrating his own death. He let Sasuke win so that his younger brother could move forward, free from the burden of revenge. His final words, "I'm sorry, Sasuke, this is the last time," became one of the most heartbreaking moments in the series. Konan. Konan was one of the most loyal characters in Naruto. She lived for Yahiko, fought alongside Nagato, and carried on their dream even after their deaths. Among the Akatsuki, she was the only female member, but more importantly, she was the last remnant of the original 3 orphans. Her death was not just the end of her character, it was the true conclusion of Yahiko's and Nagato's legacy. Konan's final stand against Obito was a rare solo battle for her, and she nearly succeeded in defeating him. Her 600 billion paper bomb explosion, designed to counter Obito's Kamui, was one of the most impressive attacks in the entire series. It showed that Konan was a deadly force in her own right. However, despite the spectacle, the fight lacked emotional weight. Konan versus Obito didn't have the same tension. Konan was fighting to protect Nagato's legacy, while Obito simply wanted the Rinnegan. There was no deeper emotional conflict between them, making the stakes feel somewhat one-sided. And then came the biggest issue, Obito's sudden Izanagi. This technique essentially rewrote reality, allowing him to survive Konan's attack without consequence. It felt like an easy way to end the battle, robbing Konan of what could have been a more honorable send-off. Instead of being outmatched in a hard-fought duel, she was simply outplayed by a hack's ability. Konan's actual death scene was breathtaking. After being fatally wounded by Obito, she fell into the water, her blood mixing with the paper that had become her second skin. As she drifted away, her paper fragments floated toward her old home, the hidden refuge where she, Nagato, and Yahiko had once stayed. The most hauntingly beautiful moment came when a single paper fragment landed on Yahiko's memorial plaque. This small detail symbolized Konan's final reunion with her lost comrades. She had spent her life following them, and in death, she finally returned to them. Deidara. If there was ever a death in Naruto that perfectly embodied a character's ideology, it was Deidara's explosive finale. Other Akatsuki's member who fought for revenge, power, or justice, but Deidara had only one goal, to prove that true art is an explosion. And in the end, he did just that. Deidara's final battle was against Sasuke Uchiha, a shinobi who represented everything he despised. Deidara loathed the Uchiha clan for their superiority, particularly the way their Sharingan could see through his explosive art. This was a personal challenge. He wanted to prove that his art was greater than the Uchiha's power. Throughout the fight, Deidara pushed Sasuke to his limits, unleashing his deadliest creations. But no matter how powerful his attacks were, Sasuke always found a way to counter them. Every explosion, every meticulously crafted bomb, was rendered ineffective by the precision of the Sharingan. This drove Deidara to his breaking point. Realizing that he was losing, Deidara made a decision that was both reckless and poetic. He became his own masterpiece. He activated C0, his strongest technique, turning himself into a living bomb capable of obliterating everything in a massive explosion. As he prepared to detonate, his final words echoed his philosophy: "Art is an explosion." It was a moment of pure dedication to his ideals. He didn't fear death. He embraced it as the ultimate artistic expression. However, the tragedy of this moment was that even in his grandest explosion, he failed. Sasuke escaped, surviving the very technique Deidara had deemed his greatest work. On the surface, Deidara's death was spectacular, one of the largest explosions in the entire series. But beneath the grandeur was deep tragedy. His entire life had been about proving that art was fleeting yet eternal, that a single moment of brilliance was more valuable than longevity. And yet, his greatest creation was meaningless. His death, while visually breathtaking, ultimately failed to achieve his goal. His final art piece, his ultimate explosion, was wasted. Zetsu. Zetsu is perhaps the most bizarre member of Akatsuki. He doesn't possess a defined fighting style, a tragic backstory, or a personal ideology. He's more of a tool, a manipulative entity that operates behind the scenes, influencing events, but never truly stepping into the battlefield. This already sets him apart from the rest of the Akatsuki, making his demise all the more underwhelming. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, the battlefield was flooded with white Zetsu clones. These clones, created through Hashirama's cells, were mass-produced and lacked individuality. Because of this, the original white Zetsu's death barely registered as significant. His end came at the hands of Sasuke Uchiha, who had just awakened his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Without hesitation, Sasuke incinerated white Zetsu with an Amaterasu-infused blade. It was a swift and merciless execution, one that didn't even warrant a dramatic final moment. This scene failed to leave any emotional impact. By this point, audiences had seen so many white Zetsu clones perish that watching another one burn felt meaningless. It was simply another casualty of war. Sasuke himself didn't acknowledge white Zetsu's death in any way, treating it as nothing more than an inconvenience. In essence, white Zetsu died as he lived, insignificant and expendable. Distant from white Zetsu, black Zetsu had a larger narrative role. He was the unseen force that manipulated the shinobi world for centuries, twisting history to pave the way for Kaguya's resurrection. However, when Kaguya was ultimately sealed, black Zetsu's fate was sealed along with her. His end was particularly humiliating. As Naruto and Sasuke activated the Six Paths Chibaku Tensei, black Zetsu desperately tried to resist. But Naruto, without even giving him a second thought, grabbed the sentient mass and tossed him into the sealing sphere alongside Kaguya. In his final moments, black Zetsu lashed out in frustration, accusing Naruto of ruining his master plan. His words, however, fell on deaf ears. He wasn't feared, he wasn't respected, he was simply discarded like trash. Kakuzu. Kakuzu was introduced as one of the most fearsome members of Akatsuki. He was ancient, battle-hardened, and seemingly invincible. Having fought Hashirama Senju and survived, his existence was a testament to his incredible durability and adaptability. Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, was reportedly ill while writing this portion of the manga. As a result, the fight felt rushed. Naruto played a crucial role in Kakuzu's downfall, debuting his newly developed Rasen Shuriken technique. The first attempt failed, but the second struck Kakuzu head-on, destroying 2 of his remaining hearts. Rather than sealing the fight with this dramatic attack, Kakashi was the one who finished Kakuzu off. He delivered the final blow with his Raikiri, piercing Kakuzu's last heart, as the aged shinobi muttered his final words. He expressed disbelief at being defeated by a younger generation, a sentiment that was meant to reinforce the theme of old versus new. Kakashi, in response, stated that the new generation will always surpass the old. While this was a nice sentiment, it didn't feel entirely convincing. After all, Kakuzu was not just any old shinobi. He was a relic from an era when titans like Hashirama roamed the world. The idea that he would be so easily taken down by a 16-year-old Naruto and his team felt somewhat forced. Kakuzu's death was not completely meaningless. It had a deeper personality, but we never got to explore it. Nagato. Nagato's death is one of the most thematically rich in Naruto, yet ironically, it is one of the least visually impactful. His demise marks the final step in his journey, from a war-torn orphan to the feared leader of Akatsuki, and ultimately, a man who found redemption through Naruto. However, the way his death is handled in the story leaves much to be desired. After his intense battle with Naruto, Nagato is confronted with a reality he never expected. Naruto, rather than seeking vengeance, chooses to listen, to understand. Their conversation becomes one of the most pivotal moments in Naruto, as it directly challenges the cycle of hatred that Nagato had become consumed by. Through Naruto's unwavering resolve, Nagato recalls the teachings of Jiraiya, the man who once believed in him. In a single defining moment, he makes a decision that cements his place in the story. He casts Rinne Tensei, using the last of his life force to revive the countless lives he had taken in the assault on Konoha. For all the weight and significance of Nagato's sacrifice, his actual death happens off-screen. This is a major misstep in execution. When an important character dies, especially one with such a complex journey, their final moments should carry emotional weight. Instead, we only see the aftermath, his lifeless body beside Yahiko's, collected by Konan. This absence of a direct farewell strips away some of the impact that should have come with his death. Imagine if we had seen Nagato's last thoughts as his vision blurred. If he had shed a final tear, realizing that he had strayed so far from the ideals he once held. A moment where he looks at Naruto and, in his last breath, expresses hope that peace is truly possible. But instead, his death is treated as an afterthought. Despite its lackluster presentation, Nagato's death holds significant narrative weight. It is the ultimate act of atonement. His entire life had been dictated by pain, and in the end, he chose to reject that ideology and place his faith in the next generation. However, the execution of his final moments weakens the emotional impact. Far from Jiraiya, his deaths are etched into the hearts of fans. Nagato's passing is easy to overlook. This is a shame, given how pivotal he was to one of the best arcs in the series. Sasori. Sasori's death is one of the most tragic in the series. It is not just a simple defeat. It is a moment of profound emotional depth, revealing the hollow existence he had lived. Sasori's demise was a conscious choice, making it one of the most unique in Naruto. Sasori's fight was a spectacle of mastery and control. He commanded an army of puppets, showcasing a level of precision and skill that few could rival. Yet, despite his immense power, he was ultimately defeated by his grandmother, Chiyo, and Sakura. As Chiyo's attack closed in, he did something completely unexpected. He let himself be struck. The very puppets that delivered the fatal blow were the ones he had modeled after his deceased parents. In his last moments, he chose to die in their embrace, a symbolic act that revealed the deepest longing of his heart. Sasori's entire existence had been defined by emptiness. Losing his parents at a young age, he turned to puppets to fill the void. Over time, he abandoned his humanity altogether, transforming himself into a puppet to escape the pain of mortality. Yet, despite his cold and ruthless nature, his final moments revealed a simple truth. He had always longed for a family. The way he let himself be killed was not just a tactical loss, it was a personal resolution. He had spent years suppressing his emotions, believing that true art was something eternal. But in the end, he sought something fleeting, something human. He allowed himself to die, not because he was outmatched, but because he finally accepted the warmth he had been missing his entire life. Sasori's death is one of the most emotionally powerful in Naruto. It is unique, deeply symbolic, and rich in psychological depth. Sasori made a choice. He let go of his ideology, his ambition, and his hatred, all for a fleeting moment of peace. Hidan. Hidan's death was a punishment. Hidan was pure chaos. He reveled in pain, took pleasure in murder, and mocked his victims even in their final moments. That's what made his demise so satisfying. He didn't just die, he suffered. Hidan was the man who murdered Asuma Sarutobi, Shikamaru's mentor. The battle between them wasn't about strategy or power, it was about justice. Unlike Kakuzu's death, Hidan's defeat was perfectly executed. Shikamaru didn't just want to kill Hidan. He wanted to erase him from existence. He lured him into a carefully set trap, isolating him in a remote forest. With a well-planned strategy, he immobilized Hidan using his shadow possession jutsu, rendering him helpless. And then, he did something far worse than death. He buried him alive. Hidan's final scene is one of the most chilling in Naruto. As he lay dismembered at the bottom of a pit, he screamed threats at Shikamaru, vowing revenge. But Shikamaru didn't care. He lit a cigarette, just like Asuma used to, took one last drag, and flicked the burning ember into the hole. The explosion sealed Hidan underground, trapping him in eternal suffering. Hidan's was brutal and merciless. There was no honor in it, no respect, only pure, cathartic justice. He was left alone, forgotten, doomed to rot in darkness for eternity. This headcanon adds an extra layer of horror to his fate. If Hidan is still conscious, trapped in the earth, then his punishment is even worse than death. He isn't just forgotten, he's suffering endlessly, with no hope of escape.
Obito. Obito's death is one of the most divisive in Naruto. It brings closure to his character arc, yet the way it is handled leaves many fans conflicted. His sacrifice makes sense thematically, but it is weighed down by unnecessary repetition and one particularly infamous line of dialogue. In the climactic battle against Kaguya, Naruto and Sasuke find themselves in a desperate situation. Kaguya's all-killing Ashbone's technique is a one-hit kill. If struck, the target disintegrates completely. In a crucial moment, Obito steps in, using the last of his chakra to shield Naruto and Sasuke from Kaguya's attack. This moment is powerful because it completes his journey. Obito, once the man who sought to plunge the world into eternal darkness, now sacrifices himself to ensure the future of the very world he tried to destroy. It is mirroring how his childhood dream of becoming Hokage was twisted by pain and manipulation. Now, at the end of his road, he reclaims